Here's Rita Larson, some exciting trips that go into the northern part of the United States. What you got first, Rita?
Well, one of the first trips is the Holland Tulip Festival, and that's in May, and it's an absolutely fabulous trip. When you enter Holland, Michigan, you just see this massive color all along the streets and the boulevards. You'll just see all kinds of flowers, and it's just a great, absolutely beautiful, beautiful city.
Do they smell?
Actually, they're mostly tulips, but they don't have the scent of some of the other flowers, but they do have other flowers in that area that are absolutely beautiful. It's just a sea of color, especially when you go out to the tulip gardens. It's 30 acres of just nothing but tulips, and at that time you can even purchase tulip bulbs. You find your favorite tulip, and then you can get the number of that particular tulip, and then you can go get that bulb and take it home and plant it. So it's great. And then we'll also visit the Delft factory. We have a great buffet dinner that night, and then we get to see Bobby Vinton. And he'll probably be singing some of our favorite tunes like Mr. Lonely or Roses Are Red or Blue Velvet.
Tiptoe Through the Tulips?
I don't think so. I think that was another Tiny Tim. Wasn't that Tiny Tim?
Yes,
I think so. I believe so. Okay, and then the next day we get a great historical tour of Hope College and the tour of the town, and then we'll have a step-on guide. That's what I think is probably one of the most unique parts of Peoria Charter Coach, is we get to these great spots, and these people that have lived in that area actually come on board and take us a tour and give us lots of background information that we otherwise would not have the opportunity to actually hear. So that, and then we also get to see the windmills, and then on the third day we'll see the Dutch Village, and at the Dutch Village we have all kinds of entertainment with the folk dancing and the wooden shoe carving and just a large selection of imported gifts.
Wonderful.
So, and then we have our dinner at Hope College, and then we get to see the Oak Ridge Boys that night. So that'll be great.
That sounds fantastic.
Okay, our next tour is Michigan's Blue Water area, and that's the Port Huron, Michigan. And at that time we have a great tour of the fort, the lighthouse. It's a lighthouse tour, and we also get to visit the St. Clair Historical Museum and the Holy Cross Parish, and we also will be visiting the Marine City Antique Warehouse. My understanding is that's quite unique. And then the Bramble Museum. We'll have a narrated sightseeing cruise aboard the Huron Lady. So that ought to be a really great trip.
What a beautiful time of year to go up there.
Another great northern trip is to Niagara Falls, and it's Niagara Falls, Canada. At that time, we have the opportunity to visit the Skylon Tower, and that is a great view of the falls. And then we also get to tour Toronto, and we'll visit the Casa Loma, which is Canada's most famous castle. And we'll also we have a step-on tour guide at that point in time. And like I said, this is one of my very favorite parts of traveling with Peoria Charter. It's like I taught school for so many years, and it's like having my own group together, only we have mostly adults now. Of course, we've had some great grandparents trips too. And all the trips that I have commented about, I think, are great for children. It's a great educational experience for not only adults but for the children too.
And do the kids behave when they're on
Oh, they're wonderful. In fact, we all become a big family. That's what happens. You know, all of a sudden when you start out on day one, everyone we're all kind of strangers, and then we get on the coach, and then we have a little. Sometimes I pass the microphone, and we talk about from where we grew up, and tell a little bit about ourselves, and then people will be taking notes, and when they're note taking, they'll talk about with other people later on. They'll maybe hear where they're from or that type of thing. So we're one big happy family. The longer the trip is, the bigger the family becomes. So
wow,
it's great. One of our great trips, and I've had the privilege of being in Door County, and this particular trip is a great trip for the fall. Colors are absolutely gorgeous. And we'll have lunch at that famous Al Johnson's, where I'm sure everybody's heard about the goats on the roof. So we'll be doing that, and then we also will get to ferry over to Washington Island. Okay, when we get to the island, we have the Cherry train step-on tour guide. And so that will be a fun thing. And of course, if you go to Door County, you have to go to a fish boil.
Yes.
Though that's a must. So that's a fun trip.
Yeah, they seem to do a lot of good eating on these trips.
I think that's the most difficult part for me as a tour escort. Sometimes I just have to not eat everything that was put on my plate as I have been taught to do when we were growing up.
Oh, and do they let the people know that they should bring all elastic pants?
I have some of those. I do bring those, but I never thought about giving that information out to the passengers. Okay, and another trip that's really great to go on is the shopping trip to the Mall of America. And when
Is that in Minneapolis?
That is outside of Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yes, and it's there's so much to do there. A pair of shoes there that I was looking all over for. So
Speaking of a
anyway.
pair of shoes, when I hear Mall of America, I want to grab my tennis shoes
Oh yes,
and say, "Win!"
you definitely need your tennis shoes. Yeah. In fact, the first night we get there, Cindy, the wonderful part of it is our driver takes us there. We get an overview of the facility, so you know where you want to go the next day. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. You definitely got some comfortable walking shoes, though. Yeah.